And one of the things that I think pretty much everyone here, apart from me, probably, was looking forward to
Mm.
was Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is um, I don't even want to say it's a chapter. It's like some lines
It's
from
half
Bram
a paragraph.
Stoker's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula has a short excerpt from the captain's log found on a busted up vessel, briefly, kind of scantily describing what happened on this ship that we all know transported Dracula from Meh to Carfax, London. And uh, obviously, everybody died and the ship was busted up. But it's quite an interesting three or four throwaway lines, kind of like, today, everything's okay on the ship, we're having fun. Ooh, someone's disappeared. I don't know how that happened. And then like day 3, saw a figure in the on the galley. Day 4, more people have died. This is not looking good. Day 5, I've got to chain myself to the wheel and hold a cross. So it's like it's pretty simple, bullet point events. And taking that and making an entire movie out of it. I mean, you can see why in Bram Stoker's Dracula, like the Coppola's version, they just summed it up by crashing ship, Dracula's arrived. But someone saw the model in Bram Stoker's Dracula and went, "Ooh, could make a movie out of that." And I think actually the original idea is great. Do it in the style of like Alien, or do it in the style of The Thing. I mean, a lot of sort of classic, I'm going to say haunted house style movies.
Enclosed location.
Yeah, and even if, I mean, everyone knows the outcome of this, who's vaguely familiar with the story or Coppola's version or anything, but you could still
Well,
make it pretty
we'll have
tense.
we'll have a talk about that, won't we?
Um,
Boy, oh boy.
you you could still do something with it.
You can.
Um, you
You
could.
could. They
You
could
could.
have.
They could have.
Now, I think that Last Voyage is a missed opportunity in fully capitalizing on doing that, because it isn't the aliens and the thing and all of those things. It tries to go in that direction and introduces a few, alternative viewpoints and characters and beats that obviously weren't there in the scant prose. But it doesn't really double down on the crazy. And they could, and I put in my review, they could have gone anywhere with this, because despite sort of knowing the outcome, I mean, much like Alien and the Thing, like you could have anything happen, and still end in that same seemingly rather dour situation. And I don't think that they fully committed to that. But I do think that they got a lot of things right, which I haven't seen done in movies like this. And I'm not huge into the genre, not least the sort of gothic feel, the creation of Dracula himself as what felt at times, I mean, apart from a CGI fueled finale, at times very practical, like this slightly slimy, sun denied corpse creeping around on a boat in the shadows.
Golem. The
Yeah,
Golem.
yeah, sure. Let's go with that. I mean, I liked a lot of the things they did with it, and I'm torn between everything I wanted it to be and everything they did manage to achieve out of 5 lines out of a book. So I actually had a fun ride with it, and I know I'm not the target audience at all you guys were. But I did enjoy it, and I did wonder to myself after finishing watching it how much more I might have enjoyed it had I been locked away in a dark cinema and just there for the duration. And
You
then
know what, though,
you know,
man? Like, I 100% agree with you on everything that you said. I think I just liked it less. Like,
yeah,
the the first hour of it, I think, is a solid movie. And you were saying like they could do anything, they could go crazy, but I was kind of pleased that the first, like that first hour is like, self-contained, low-key, one by one, Dracula picks off the crew. That's what I wanted. That is the movie that I wanted. And it was a bit ropey in parts, but generally it was pretty well put together. And there were a couple of moments.
I believe the term is charming.
Charming. And there were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, that's good. I wasn't, that's good. But they really play to this. Like, there's one moment, and I won't spoil it, but you'll know what I mean, where you think, now all bets are off. Now anything can happen.
Yes.
And nope, play it as safe as possible for the finale, and just have like the super traditional ending. Let's not go super nuts, and let's say that point is the crazy it's going to get, and we're just going to scale it back from here and just have a weird CGI finale, which is like, what have you done? Like, you nearly had a little understated B-movie Dracula gem, and you tried to do something really dumb with it, and then you ended it in a horrendously stupid way. And
it was a good moment, though. It was a good moment.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great moment. Okay. But those last like 10, 15 minutes, I was like, I'm out. This is ridiculous. I'm not interested anymore.
It's pretty it was pretty CG at the end, yeah. Sai has also
did a couple of things right, as far as I'm concerned. It looked pretty good. Yeah, nicely cinematic. And we have that fairly digital sheen that you get with modern horror films. What immediately struck my mind was Evil Dead Rise, how glossy it is, and it's kind of glossy in that regard. Mm-hmm. It's very dark, very moody. The introduction of all the weird and wonderful characters that didn't exist in the book or whatever mentioned. Okay, work and live with that. Sure. The idea of the child on the boat, I like that. That was good because that gives you some real tension. I loved the monster. I thought he was brilliant. Not only because of what it's based on, which we'll come on to later, but because he was a filthy, horrible monster. He was unlike any other Dracula, apart from Nosferatu, that you've ever seen. And I really enjoyed that. But it didn't really know what it wanted to be. It should have been a whodunit. It wasn't. It should have been people trapped and trying to fight their way out. It wasn't. It kind of got lost. Everything that you said is exactly what it is, and you're quite right. It bailed in the last few minutes when you went, "Oh, really? Why did you do that? Why not just blood and splatter everywhere and just have the boat crash? I mean, come on, it was simple. It was written in the book. Just finish it like it should have been in the book." But you know,
to speak to your point about like the monster, I totally agree. Loved and agree with you, Kaz. I love the practicality, especially there's a bit where you see the wing. Great image. And
the prisoner.
And the rubbery bat fingers over the face. Really, really good. That being said, to get from the point where this is going into like divergence from the book, which I was super okay with until I wasn't okay with it, which is that by the time this film ends, Dracula needs to be in a certain place, looking a certain way, being a certain thing in order for the story of Dracula to continue. And it doesn't get to that point. In fact, it completely goes.
Yes, it goes.
Do you know what I mean? If you think back to Francis Ford Coppola's adaptation, you have the gentleman Dracula prancing around London.
No, he had a few days where he just kicked around and he got into one, and they're going to get into that in the sequel. It's not going to happen because this didn't make any money.
Yeah.
But, he had a couple of days where he just hung over and he needed a bit of something.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted a showdown between the main character and fancy gentleman Dracula being like, I've won. Like this, you've lost.
Yeah.
Now
it should have ended on a.
You had some hope, and now you've lost. And I wanted that kind of
blood and splatter,
man-to-man confrontation, before blood and splatter, exactly like Simon says, and,
Yeah.
and you don't get that. And I felt a bit like it's poor criticism, isn't it, to criticize a film for not being something that it isn't. But
That's why. That's
I
why I had
wanted it to be something else.
Yeah, that's why I had to keep reminding myself that really they did a lot with very, very little indeed.
Well,
But
we should also remember that George Lucas made 3 films out of one line, so it's not without precedent, is it?
yes, yeah.
See, though, the thing is, though, it's and yes, I haven't seen it, and I'm kind of glad.
And shut up, Mark. You don't know what you're talking about.
Did drop $25 on that now. But
You're such a cheapskate, Mark.
yes, I am.
Just
Very, very, very much so. But to get back to what you just said there, Kaz, yes, they may have done a lot with a little, but it's that classic, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And if they could not take this vision of how to do Dracula different and deliver something satisfying, which, let's be frank, for the fans, then why bother? And it
I know,
sounds
but-
like
but-
they haven't.
I mean, I can see that. I just felt a bit more apologetic about it because they gave and I will say, Mark, for a person who's undertaking all of the possible tangential Stephen King adaptations, I guarantee you're going to watch one of the terrible ones and go, it was all right.
Mark's going to come back in 2 weeks' time going, you know what, Thinner is quite a good movie.
Yeah.
That's Silver Bullet. Thumbs up.
Silver Bullet is ace, and I will fight you. Corey Haim,
Maximum
Corey
overdrive.
Haim
Come on.
in a motorized wheelchair.
I
I tell you what, though,
had-
the first place I'm starting is Return to Salem's Lot. That's where I'm starting.
in
Oh,
the tall
yes.
grass.
Oh dear.
I mean,
Oh no, never again.
I enjoyed this, and it's not. I'm not the target audience, and I do think that it deserved a little bit better treatment than just
Yeah,
not
I'll give it
appearing in the UK.
Well,
yeah, I definitely would have gone to see it in the cinema, 100%.
well,
and I do think I would have enjoyed it more
yeah, but
locked away in a screen with Dracula on a boat. It was.
well, let's be honest. There are 2 very good reasons why we're not getting it in cinemas. One of which you can kind of maybe understand because it died at the US box office, absolutely tanked. But the other one, which is probably the main one, is it got lost in the business restructure. Who was the distributor? Was it E1?
Yes, I think
So
so.
it got lost in that. So that, I get that a lot of people are going, we should have this in cinemas, and I totally agree. But I think this isn't a case of a distributor just went, oh, it did crap numbers over there, we're not going to bother.
No,
I
it
think
isn't.
There is
No.
a legit reason
Yeah.
why we are not. It's still a crap reason.
It
but
is still a crap
It
reason.
is a
It's-
legit reason
yeah,
why
it's-
we're not getting this.
It's
You
not.
can,
it's,
but you can have it both ways though, can't you? Because like I 100% would have gone to see this in the cinema. It is a real shame that it didn't make it to the cinema here because I agree with everything Kaz has said. Like a lot of it is good. A lot of it, I think, if I discovered this knowing nothing about it on like Netflix or Amazon, I'd have had a ball. Like I'd have been like, oh, what a disappointing ending, but what a great like little, digression of Dracula lore. Great.
It's like Blood Red Sky, the prequel.
Jesus Christ.
It's
Yeah.
I
not.
haven't even
It's
got into
not like
Dracula.
that. It's not. Hint, Dracula's not in that.
We're going to
Nothing.
have a recap of this once Mark's seen it in like 6 months' time.
You mean when I proclaim it a 5-star masterpiece?
Yes.
And
yes.
you're all utterly
Yeah,
insane.
yes, we're going to have to come back
Yes.
to it. It's when I'm even talking negatively about it, and you're going, "No, it was the greatest thing ever, better than Fast X."
No.